Hello everybody and welcome to another ICE video. My name is Francisco and today I will bring something a little bit interesting. This is something a little bit more unique than what we do oftentimes here. And they created the banned Gauntlet in Modern, in Magic Online. So basically what we're going to be doing is we're going to be playing all decks that have banned cards, and we're going to be playing those decks against other decks that have banned cards. So we have Hogak, we have Affinity with Mox Opal, we have Blue Red Delver with Treasure Cruise, Melirapod, Twin, like all of those classic decks that have gotten one or two cards banned are legal right now in the format. And what we're going to be doing ourselves is we're going to be playing Amulet Bloom, of course, called after the card Summer Bloom, because back in the day this card was legal. This is a deck that has treated me very, very well. I did a lot of winning back in the day, way before people realized that this was a real deck, and people consider this to be sort of a meme. And I think the deck is probably pretty good in this Gauntlet. We're gonna see how it actually fares against the other decks in the Gauntlet. I have no idea. I haven't played a single game in this format, which is not really a format, but like in this event, I guess. But yeah, we have access to, you know, the classic Primeval Titan stuff. We can kill with multiple amulets and, you know, Boros Garrison, Slayer, Stronghold, Sunhome, all of these classic players are part of this game's game plan, but we also have a different angle of attack, and because we have the card Summer Bloom, we can do all that stuff a little bit faster. So Summer Bloom allows you to, if you cast it on turn 2 by itself, it enables your turn 2 Titan, or if you have an amulet in play, you can go turn 1 amulet, turn 2 play a bounce land, play Summer Bloom, and that gives you the 6 mana that you need to either play Primeval Titan and go for your combo, or you can go for Hive Mind. And if you have one of our pacts, we have 4 Summoners Pact, 1 Slaughter Pact, 2 Pacts of Negation, sorry, in the main deck. If we go for any of these pacts, then what happens is we will simply win the game on an opponent's upkeep. So it's a good deal. It's a pretty good deal. We're going to be playing this deck list. The only change I want to make is I want to cut the second Pact of Negation and add a Bojuka Bog to the main deck. I feel like because of what the Gauntlet looks like, this card is probably going to be pretty important to be in the main. But besides that, we have access to all of the classic cards. Gemstone Mine back in the day was the best land in the deck because it allowed you to cast all of your spells. And we have a bunch of cantrips in Ancient Steerings, Sleight of Hand, and Serum Visions, so we can, you know, enact our combo a little bit more reliably. And yeah, we're going to be trying this through, I think it's 3 matches. I think it's 3 matches that we get to play. Hopefully we're going to get paired against some other interesting decks. Hopefully not Twin, because I remember this deck's Twin matchup used to be awful. But yeah, I am kind of interested in seeing how this deck would fare against Hogak, or even something like the Eggs deck, because the second Sunrise deck is also legal here. I'm definitely going to be checking what the opponents' deck lists are going to be looking like throughout the event. And yeah, we're going to see how things go. If you're enjoying this kind of content, of course, as usual, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. You can help us grow the ICE channel. And thank you for watching. I'll see you for round number 1. All right, here we go for the very first round. Unknown opponent. We are on the play, however. And yeah, I'm going to keep this hand. So if we draw Summer Bloom, we have a turn to Titan, so that's cool. Hopefully we draw a Summer Bloom, I guess. We got Pact of Negation. What are we playing against? Jund? Jund with Deathrite Shaman. Have all my deck lists over here. Honestly, like, I feel like it's disrespectful, right? Like, having access to like the whole point of this event and just like not using the proper arts of lands, it's, I don't know, just feels kind of amiss. So one thing we could do here is we could pact for Azusa. But then if my opponent has a Thoughtseize, they just take our Primeval Titan and we're actually in a lot of trouble. So I think what I want to do, just play Gruul Turf and say go. We can make that play and actually cast the Titan, because if we go for that, and I am forced into using the Vesua to copy my Gruul Turf, and if the Azusa doesn't die and I find another green bounce land, then we're good to go. But that's a lot to ask, you know. Dark Confidant. It's kind of scary. Slaughter back right on time. Okay, so we're just gonna play this, and then we're just gonna pass the turn. Let's see what removal spells my opponent has access to. At instant speed, they have 2 Abrupt Decay, 4 Lightning Bolt, 2 Terminate. And they actually just revealed the Terminate. Alright, so they're probably going to Thoughtseize my Primeval Titan, which means that I'm not going to be able to Pact for Azusa and cast the Titan, which is kind of unfortunate, but at least they did miss the land drop. I'll take 3 here. That's fine. Simic Growth Chamber. So float a mana. Gonna develop mana here. I'm gonna cast these Serum Visions. Ha! So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put the Amulet on top, and then I'm gonna put the second Summoner's Pact on top. Then I'm gonna pass the turn. If I'm gonna draw the second Summoner's Pact first, then I'm going to Ancient Stirrings, find that Amulet, and I'm gonna play it. And then I'm gonna be able to Pact for a Primeval Titan, and I'm gonna be able to get a second Prime Time as well. And that way we get to play around the silly Terminate that my opponent has going on there. They did draw Marsh Flats, which means they could have Maelstrom Pulse. If they do have Maelstrom Pulse, then I guess it's not that big of a deal. Because if they are just gonna pulse my, if they're just gonna play Liliana, they're straight up dead. I gotta make sure that my opponent's not playing, like, you know, they're not playing Slaughter Pact. Neither main deck nor sideboard. They do have Maelstrom Pulse. Okay, that's not a big deal. So what we're gonna do now is we're going to draw our second Primeval Titan. And we're gonna Ancient Stirrings into the Amulet that we know that's on top. We're gonna play that Amulet. And okay, so what I'm gonna do here, I guess, is I'm gonna copy my opponent's Overgrown Tomb, and by doing this, even if they have the second Maelstrom Pulse or an Abrupt Decay for my Amulet of Vigor, I am gonna get to cast this Primeval Titan anyway. So I'm playing around my opponent having second removal on the Amulet. Bolt doesn't really do anything. We also have Pact of Negation. The Slaughter Pact is looking very silly. Slaughter Pact looking very, very silly. Only instant sorceries and creatures. Man, it's been so long since I played with this card or against this card, because usually I was the one playing against this card. I only played this card a bunch in Green White Maverick in Legacy, back when this card was legal, but even back then, yeah, I guess I played against a bunch. I played with it a bunch. Yeah, this format is kind of interesting. It's just some of the deck lists are very far from optimal. Like, it would be nice if they had chosen some better deck list, honestly. I think my opponent's tanking about that. Like, do I hold up Terminate this turn, or do I like Abrupt Decay the Amulet, Bolt my face? Well, that's aggressive. I mean, they don't have mana with this Shaman because there are no lands in the graveyard. Yep. All right. So I guess we win. Oh, that's that's pretty sick. All right. All right. That's kind of sick. I like that. That's a nice play from my opponent. That's a very, very nice play from my opponent right there. So what are we going to do? We're not going to haste, because we're gonna get got, right? So since we're not hasting, we do have access to Bojuka Bog, we do have access to Colony Garden. This Primeval Titan is gonna die. I could just transmute. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're gonna have access to 8 mana, which means we're not gonna be able to pay for this Pact of Negation. And after we pay 4, we're not gonna be able to cast the Titan on the following turn either. Oh, I can just Pact of Negation the Terminate, right? Yeah, I can just Pact of Negation the Terminate. Like, this is just not a big deal. So we have to make sure that we're going to have double blue. But yeah, Boros Garrison, Slayer's Stronghold. Yeah, I don't know. I tanked for much longer than I needed to. I kind of feel like my opponent's going to think that I was low rolling them. But yeah, this is just like a pretty good tempo play. And here we're going to get, on attacks, we're going to get Colony Garden. They don't have any ways of blowing up my lands game 1. So we don't need to worry about that. Pact of Negation to terminate. Gonna bounce Overgrown Tomb. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're gonna get Colony Garden to play around Liliana. And I guess a Tolera West to set up the next Titan and pay for a blue pact. Even get the sleight of hand for good measure. At this point in the game, we're fine with mana. I'm just gonna go for the Serum Visions. And I mean, they may just lose right now, right? Yep. Sweet. Game 1 versus Jund. Explosives is good. Historically, Hivemind has been very bad against Jund. Pact of Negation also pretty bad against Jund. They have Slaughter games, so I kind of want the Ley Lines, which I kind of hate in this kind of matchup, but back in the day, this is like what we did. This is kind of what you had to do. Slaughter Pact also looked pretty bad right there. Pyroclasm is interesting. Pyroclasm kills Goif, kills Deathrite Shaman, and Bob, which I guess are the two scarier things, but I think I'd rather just have the cards that I got here. Just submit. Maybe I should leave the Hivemind, because my opponent's going to be playing Slaughter games. They have 2 copies of Slaughter games in the sideboard. So I kind of need... No, it's just such a bad win condition. Such a bad win condition. And if I leave the Hivemind, I kind of need to leave one of these back. I'm gonna leave one Hivemind, I guess. And I'm gonna go for cutting the island. Let's cut one of these steerings. All right, man. This is I'm kind of loving this actually. This is really bringing me back to the good old days. Back to the good old days. Good old Amulet Bloom, or Bloom Titan, or however you wanted to call it. Yeah. This is the kind of hand that I like. Keep. Your go. Turn 1 Garden. Bob is very scary here, I have to say. Even Liliana is kind of scary. Like the fact that there's nothing in the sideboard, there's no Obstinate Bailoff. Like this list is really bad. You just have there's just no B plans, you know? I'm gonna try to, limit my opponent's mana by using Bujuki Ball instead of Colony Garden. Like I don't need to play Colony Garden just yet. And if I draw like a Steerings or something, I don't think I'm playing it first of all. And second of all, if I really wanted to play it, I could just use Gemstone Mine. Turn to Liliana is a problem though. Turn to Liliana is a problem. Like that's how I lose with this Leyline in play, you know? That may be what we're facing. It's nice to know that we don't need to play around Surgical, which is nice. Vesuva, it's not great. I think I'm gonna Pact for Azusa next turn. Thoughtseize, enter the revealed card zone. That's a Goif. It's not very big. Yeah, I'm gonna Pact for Azusa here. I'm gonna copy my opponent's Overgrown Tomb. Yeah, it's nice to know that we don't have to play around Surgical. Otherwise, I wouldn't be doing this because then, my opponent gets to Surgical, my Summoner's Pact, and I'm in a lot of trouble. I guess it's better to copy my own Colony, actually. So now we get to trade with the Bob if my opponent allows it. We have a couple of Chump Blockers. They continue drawing Thoughtseizes. Not having found the bounce line is kind of annoying. This Leyline's doing so much work. This Leyline's doing an insane amount of work. So it's the same removal spells. It's 2 mouths from Pulse and 2 Terminate, and then 4 Lightning Bolts, which I guess they can bolt my Titan twice. Those are their only answers to Titan. Mouths from Pulse on the Leyline would be kind of a big deal. If they offer the trade for the Bob, I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna take 2 though. This says each opponent, so this gets around Leyline. We do have access to Engineered Explosives. That would be a pretty decent draw. Would like to not lose the game, thank you very much. It's an Amulet. Okay, I'll play that out. It's gonna make my next turn a lot better. Second Bob. So we can kill all the Goifs next turn if I wanted to. Inquisition themselves just to draw the Goif. Just to grow the Goif, I mean. So these are their 5 cards. Take 2 free block there. Now we just kill them. Some respect. Play this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. That was this. Garrison. And I guess I'm gonna get Sunhome. Haste Primetime. Bounce this. Replay. Bounce that, I guess. Doesn't really matter. Here's a bunch of damage. Boom. Round 1 in the books. Round 1 in the books. 16, yeah. Man. Feels good. Feels good. Leyline MVP. Good stuff. Good stuff. This is kind of fun. This is kind of fun. We did get paired against like one of our good matchups in this gauntlet, right? Like Deathrite is good, but like the cost of them having access to Deathrite is that, you know, they're not playing like a bunch of other good cards that have been printed since then, sorry. So kind of is what it is. See you for next round. Okay, here we are in the second round. Sounds kind of sketchy, right? It does have steerings. It does have mine, which allows me to transmute. I think I'm gonna keep it. It does need some help though. It does need some help. Also, let me make sure that this is in place. There we go. Yeah, let's go turn 1 amulet, pass the turn. I'm getting so good at drawing this Slayer Stronghold. Opponent's playing, they're playing Eldrazi. So, no idea whether this matchup's gonna be good or not. That's good. That's good because that means that we are one, I guess, Growth Chamber. Man, really wish I had access to that Azusa. Okay, but this is taking shape now. So next turn I can transmute. We're gonna hope for no turn to Thought Knot. But this coming turn I can transmute. And Caves of Koilos? Oh, they're playing 1 Caves of Koilos? That's really funny. Just as like a white source and colorless source. What are the chances that my opponent has Thought Knot in hand? Probably pretty high, huh? So I can go float blue, steerings. Sorry, float blue, play bounce, steerings. I think I'm doing this. And then I can transmute this turn. If my opponent has a Thought Knot, we're in a lot of trouble. Wow, the whiff. Oh my god, that's devastating. If they have Thought Knot, we're probably dead here. I really needed to not whiff there. Like, I really needed to not whiff right on that one. Oh, that's brutal. We're just, I guess we're kind of hoping here. Ghost Quarter. It's such a weird deck list, and my opponent somehow managed to draw all of their random. They managed to draw all of their random one-off lands. Maybe I should have got an island there. I mean, it doesn't really make a difference, but they also they took the wrong one. Unless they're trying to like use Displacer to like lock my Titan down, but like if they do that, then I just get a bunch of triggers. Also, Displacer doesn't line up particularly well against Primeval Titan because the amulet just untaps it. That sucks. That's not a good draw. Azusa off the top? No. Yeah, I'm just gonna bottom both of these and play this Gemstone Mine and hope that we dodge one more turn. We're gonna take 8 down to 5. We take 8 down to 5, then Primetime's gonna find me another Primetime. and I get to find. Okay, that's good. That's good. So we cannot haste here. We cannot haste. So we're gonna go for Evil Titan. I'm gonna go for Radiant Fountain and I think Colony Garden. Just to ensure the maximum chance that we just don't die. They have Dismember, 1 Cyclonic Rift, and 4 Path to Exile. Well, definitely help me to dodge one of those paths. Let's see if they have Thought Knot here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Gonna attack. We should be able to cast another Titan next turn. So they can't displace my token. Thought Knot Seer would be kind of a problem. That's, again, if there's not a Thought Knot Seer incoming here, I'm okay with this. Okay, cool. All right, so this also means no Path to Exile, right? Because if there had been a Path to Exile, then my opponent would have just attacked there. 1, 2. If I get Boros plus Sunhome, my opponent doesn't have to block. So we can get Tolera West Bounce Land. That's going to be 3 mana. We're going to bounce Colony Garden. Second main. We could also get, no, because I can get Vesuva off the second Titan. I think that's better. So go to combat. We're going to offer the trade. Like if my opponent wants to block with both of these, that's good with me. And then the second Titan is going to get him. But there's no reason to play the Amulet just yet. I don't need to give my opponent more information. So here we're going to go Bounce Land. And I think Tolera West. This is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to bounce Colony Garden. Yeah. I'm going to bounce Colony Garden because it enters tapped. Like I wish I could bounce Radiant Fountain, but Fountain doesn't. So I have to bounce here. Opponent's probably going to block with both of these. So they just take it. Okay. So with them just taking it, I can just go second Amulet, play Colony, this untaps twice, flow the mana, get another Trump Blocker, Summoner's Pact for another Primeval Titan, cast second Primetime. Now we have double Amulet, but it doesn't really do anything for us. We already have a Bounce Land in hand, so we can bounce that. We also have kind of infinite mana. So I think what I'm going to be doing here is I'm just going to get Vesuva to copy my Radiant Fountain and Temple of Mystery so I can set up the top of my deck. And like this mana doesn't really matter. So at this point, they don't play all this dust. So we're good here. We get to bottom the basic island. Pass the turn. And next turn we are threatening lethal. This is only to cast spells, right? Yeah. So this doesn't cost just a single colorless to activate. That's good. So I think this game 1, we're gonna get there. Phyrexian Metamorph. They are playing one copy of Metamorph. This deck list is the wildest deck list that I've ever seen. 4 Drowners, 4 Smashers, 4 Displacer, but they have like 1 Metamorph, 3 Endless One, 1 Cyclonic Rift in the main deck. 1 Cyclonic Rift, 4 Path to Dismember. That is so funny. They're also playing 25 lands. The fact that they only saw 3 lands in their I guess they did see the Ghost Quarter and they blew up the wrong land. If they had blown out the bounce land, I think they would have been able to tempo me out, but they blew up the bounce land. They were the wrong land. They just got hasty. And blew up the wrong one. No attacks. Got it back to pay for. 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, that's an interesting draw. That's a very interesting draw. So this is my opponent's extra. I mean, they're perfect deck list, so it's not like I'm giving any unknown info here, right? The Hive Mind kill is just hilarious. But this plays around Path to Exile very nicely, right? So it is correct for me to do this. So now they're gonna get their copy of Summoner's Pact, and they're gonna die on their upkeep. Sweet. Okay, so Pact of Negation seems awful. Absolutely awful. But Jukebog also awful. Ghost Quarter significantly better. Let's see what cyber cards they have. They have access to Wallace Dust. They have access to Stony Silence, Gutshot, 1 copy of Pine Needle, 1 Dismember, 2 Starborn Denial, 2 Rest in Peace, 2 Hocus Recall, 2 Spells Guide, 1 Grafdigger's Cage. I think this is just what I do. I don't think I'm interested in any of the other cards. Like, if they want to bring in Piney Needle and name, like, whatever. I mean, I guess the best thing to name would be Tolari West, but still, it's kind of whatever. I still have 8 copies of Primetime. We still have 6 packs to try to kill them, because Slaughter Pact is actually legit pretty good. I wonder if I should leave in Bojukibok just because Slaughter Pact is good. So we have 5, 6. We just have 6 black sources. It's not that many. It probably doesn't matter though. We probably still have to cut the bog. Like, we could cut Cavern of Souls instead. That gives me 1 extra source. I think I want 28 lands. I don't think I want 29. And there's no chalices or anything like that to worry about. So yeah, let's just do this. Let's see what we're up against now. Pretty even in clock, which is nice. It means that both me and my opponent have been playing at a similar pace. Interesting. Very interesting. I think I'm keeping this hand on the strength of this Tolari West, but we may be punished. T-West. I can't afford for a turn 2 Thought not to take my amulet, so I'm just gonna play it out. Even though it costs me a gemstone counter. Don't love that, yeah. Do they have the turn 2 Thought Knot? The good thing is that the turn 2 Thought Knot doesn't really do too much here. They do have it. Alright. I mean, this is why this deck got banned. This is why Io Booking got banned, so... yeah, this is very strong. This is very, very good. They take a Susa? Why would you take a Susa there? Because he chumps? I'm gonna lead on Temple and see what's on top of my deck. if there's a bounce land on top of my deck, I'm just gonna develop mana this turn. I'm just gonna cast the Summer Bloom. But only if I see, I think only if I see a bounce land in here. What happens if I Summer Bloom here? That means I get to pact the Thought Knot, which is kind of nice, to be honest. And I hold up 1 T-West in hand. So I'm not getting full value from this Summer Bloom, but I don't need to either. And this stems the bleeding pretty well. This stems the bleeding pretty well. Do they have Smasher too? Jeez. All right. That's a lot. So we're taking 10 here down to 6. So actually what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this. I'm gonna take this 5, 9, 14 down to 2. I'm gonna take this, I'm not gonna untap, and I'm going to, because I need to find bounce land plus Primeval Titan, right? Those are the draws. So by Slaughter Pacting now, I have my mana on my turn, and I have one more draw, one more look. All right. So we play this out. Second Amulet. Steerings into a bounce land. We have 6 mana, we get to Pact for Azusa. So if I find a bounce land here, actually I win. This is sick. Bounce land? Oh, wow, dude. Amulet. Amulet. So bounce here, transmute for Pact, Pact for Azusa. Play Azusa. Oh no, I'm 1 mana short. I'm 1 mana short. Oh man. I guess I miscounted at one point because I only have 8 mana here. I only have 8 mana. That's so close. That was so close. My opponent had the best possible hand. All right. That's insane. All right. That was really close, actually. Pretty happy with my play there, actually. I think that line was not so obvious. I guess we're gonna have to keep this. Move on to the next game. Hive Mind. This hand's slow. I think I'll keep it, but it's very slow. We're gonna need an amulet for sure, or Summer Bloom. But if in order for the Summer Bloom to give us full value, we're gonna need to make sure that we draw more lands. Bounce lands I'm keeping. Radiant Fountain is interesting. I don't think that's good enough. I think I need bounce lands and I need Summer Bloom effects. And this coming turn, I'm gonna go for T-West tapped. I'm gonna go for Serum Vision so I can set up my draws because I'm not doing anything, right? So okay, so here's the bounce land. Now that we found the bounce land, I think that I want to go bottom, and I'm gonna play the tapped Tolaria West. It's tempting to want to go squatter my opponent here, but if I go squatter them, then I'm in a situation where sure they can turn to Thought Knot me here, which would suck, but first of all, they led on Eldrazi Temple instead of Eye of Wing, which makes that a little bit less likely. So they would basically have to have exactly second Eldrazi Temple. And number 3, if I do that, then I'm actually setting myself behind. That's growth here. That doesn't really do anything. So this turn I may find an amulet, and if I do find an amulet, I'm gonna want it. Also Summer Bloom, so I'm gonna go for Sleight of Hand here, as opposed to Serum Visions. Summer Bloom is sick. Okay, so now we have Summer Bloom. Now we play our land, and now we go Bloom. Play this. Bounce. Play this. Bounce. And I think I kind of want to go squatter the Eldrazi Temple now. This means I still need to draw an untapped land next turn. If I delay the Thought Knot by a turn, if I don't draw an untapped source, they will need to have like 2 more lands, and that could actually be a problem because they're gonna Thought Knot before I land this prime time. So yeah, I think I have to. We get the Serum Visions if they don't do that. Also, they have no answer to an onboard Hive Mind, so actually my opponent's kind of in an interesting spot if they do have the Temple or Ayabugin plus Thought Knot. They're still in a pretty interesting spot in whether, like, I guess they just have to take my Hive Mind instead of my prime time, actually. Steerings. So we want to Steerings first, and then we want to Serum Visions. Steerings into an Amulet, and now we're going to Serum Visions. We're going to draw what? They could have something like Hercules Recall or something, but it's not very good. Second Hive Mind, so they're gonna take Titan with Thought Knot. We untap, we play Hive Mind. They have no answers to the Hive Mind. We're gonna take 7. Yikes. Man, I really wish I had drawn this Rot Farm. We're just 1 mana short of the kill. So if my opponent does have the Thought Knot, if they do have the Thought Knot, we're actually just dead, I think. I don't think there are any permutations that allow me to win if they do indeed have land Thought Knot. I'm trying to think if there's any combination. We keep Summer Bloom on top. Keep Summer Bloom on top. Play Amulet, hold on to this Tolera West. But then we don't have a pact. But then we don't have a pact to go alongside the Hive Mind. Yeah, so I think that we're just dead to... Because the Summer Bloom doesn't do it. I'm gonna hold on to the Bounce Land, I think. Because it's probably better than the average draw. It allows me to do more stuff. Although I guess that if I do resolve this Titan, I do win regardless. So, but yeah, we're gonna be 1 mana short of winning this game, which is very unfortunate. Because we're just taking lethal next turn. Dodge land. That's a land. No Thought Knot? Okay, I mean, that looks like no Thought Knot. So I assume they have to have Path to Exile, right? There's no counterspell in their deck, so they have to have Path to Exile here. Yeah, they do. That's not good timing for the path, by the way. They should wait until I choose my targets. So getting Colony Garden doesn't do anything, because my opponent just gets to, you know, just do it. But I'm gonna have access to 6 mana here, so I get to drop a Hive Mind. So we can go Radiant Fountain, Simic Growth Chamber. I mean, I don't see anything better to do. We die to Reality Smasher. But if we don't die to Reality Smasher, we win next turn. So we want to float. Bounce this. Play that. Play Hive Mind. Pass the turn. If they have Land Smasher, we're dead. But we beat Thought Knot because we're gonna be at 2. So we just have to dodge Land Smasher. Okay, no haste threat, please. Even if they play Drowner of Hope, it just doesn't do anything. Because we're just combo killing them with Hive Mind. So Smasher is the only card that matters, I think. Yeah, it doesn't matter. And there's no other haste threat. I don't think even if they had 3 mana, they could like draw step the Thought Knot. It wouldn't matter because they don't get priority. They don't get priority before I get to cast my Summoner's Pact. So this is just game. Transmute. Here's a Summoner's Pact. Make sure you get your copy of Summoner's Pact. You may search your library for a green card. Fail to find? Yucks. So unfortunate. It's actually with this trigger on the stack. Wait, why am I not holding priority? Huh, weird. All right, 2-0, baby. Let's go. Bring it on. All right, let's go. Last round, sitting pretty at 2-0. So this hand has mana. Nothing to do with it, but I mean, I guess we have the counterspell. That's what we're up against. I imagine Hogak. We haven't played against Hogak just yet. I imagine the Gak. Oh, mirror match. I imagine the Gak is far and away the best deck in this Gauntlet. We're gonna have to play around some back negations and stuff. It's gonna be interesting. Opponent's hand seems to be better than mine. We need a bounce land. We kind of need it now. Also, this deck list not playing Crumbling Vestige is just an absolute sacrilege. Yep, opponent's hand's better than ours. So we're gonna get to deploy Azusa this turn, and then if we find a land, put 2 cards on the bottom. We gotta find a Titan too, I guess. So this tells me they have another bounce land in hand. It's not great. I mean, it means that I can pay for Pact, which is nice. So if they go for Titan, we can just counter it. But then that also means that we're not doing anything next turn. I mean, not that we have anything to do, but main deck, back of negation. I wonder where they took these deck lists from, because some of them are just not very good. Opponent deep in the attack about this turn. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. You either have it or you don't, right? Whatever you do, they may have their own Pact. Their hand was a lot better than ours. A lot better than ours. Their hand was a lot better than ours. Blue. That's a land. So now we just have to draw a prime time. Can we draw a prime time before my opponent draws theirs? Because that's the only thing that matters. That's the only thing that matters right now. Also not finding a single bounce land in all of these lands. Just brutal. Just brutal. Let's draw a Pact though. Let's draw a Pact. Let's draw a Titan. Let's win this game, you know? Hive Mind is super awkward in this matchup too. Because your opponent can just like Pact and make it so like force you to pay. If you like, if I draw Hive Mind, I don't even know if I'm supposed to play it. Probably not, because my opponent has Tolaria West. So they can go Pact for Titan, transmute for another Titan, and just like I have to pay for 2 Pacts and then I just die. It's pretty funny. Okay, so they did find a Primeval Titan because they found the T-West, so their hand is gonna be Primeval Titan, I guess Summoner's Pact, Unknown. Oh, really? Okay, so they're setting up the kill for this turn, I guess. But they would have gotten so punished, though. Because if I find my own Titan, then they are the ones who die. Oh no, they don't, because they can pay for 2 green packs. So never mind. No, that's actually correct. Okay, so that's fine. So it was good for them because they had more mana than I did. Free Ancient Steerings, don't mind if I do. It's bad mana, but, you know, bad mana is better than no mana, right? Could have gotten sick on the Amulet there, but wouldn't have found the Growth Chamber. I think that should be enough for them to kill me. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm fairly certain that that's the case. I mean, I could do the math, but I'm too lazy. I'm just letting my opponent do the math. Just letting my opponent do the math. You do the math, opponent. I don't want anything to do with your math. No, I think that that's lethal. Even if I did have Pact of Negation, then my opponent, they can, like, a copy of the Pact would go on the stack, and then their copy of Pact counters my Pact, which is, you know, weird. But yeah, that's how that works. So I imagine what they're gonna do is they're just gonna transmute, but they may mess it up, you know. So I'm not gonna concede. I'm just gonna have my opponent show me, because if they mess it up, then on the end tap I can be the one that kills them potentially. Seems unlikely, but yeah, we didn't draw particularly well. Yeah, my opponent's correctly going for a second Summoner's Pact here. Also, we're given the worst Primeval Titans to play, like the the modern Masters 2. Ugh, it's like the worst Titan with the worst frame and like the worst. They have like the little thingy in here. It's just awful. Worst Titan possible. Worst Titan possible. They're just doing it to slow down my powers. Okay, so what matters here? This does not. So get it out of here. Ghost Quarter does, but Jugabog does not. Slaughter Pact is good. I think Pact of Negation is reasonable. Seal of Primordium. I don't think I want Seal of Primordium actually. I think I'd rather have Pact of Negation. Oh, Swan Song, I guess is interesting. I think I'm going to bring in Swan Songs on the draw. But I'm going to sideboard like this on the play. Yeah. Let's do this. Yep. Keep this hand. So, unfortunately, we got a turn 1. Actually, never mind. I forgot how busted this card is. Okay, so we're gonna have like a great feature right now about why this card is banned. Right now, we're gonna see why this card is in the modern ban list. And we're gonna see this right now. This is just so convenient, man. I think that the theory that somebody in WotC is just like an amulet lover, and over the course of like 10 years or something, they have been slowly printing like cards where everything, like, look at that, like everything just lines up perfectly. Like the Summer Bloom just works perfectly with the Growth Chamber. The Haste land only requires Boros Garrison mana to activate. You come here, you have your, I'm gonna get Ghost Quarter, and any land really doesn't really matter. Temple of Mystery, I guess. It's just, it's almost logical, you would say, that somebody at WotC is just, that's the tinfoil hat theory. Appreciate my opponent fighting the fight, casting their Serum Visions in the face of in the face of a Primeval Titan with an amulet in play. I respect it. I respect it. That was very much an on game. All right, so Swan Songs, bring those in. And we're on the draw now, so I'm gonna want that, I think. Because these are the cards that are going to allow me to catch up to what my opponent's doing. So what exactly right now happened doesn't happen to me. But yeah, and that hand that we just got there with the turn 2 pseudo kill, they're not that rare, honestly. So this hand is like amazing if we find the bounce land, but if we don't, then this card doesn't do anything. So I'm just gonna mulligan. Just gonna ship it. Opponent ships as well. Much better, significantly better hand. We got the Titan. This is a turn 3 Titan. 1, 2, 3. So I think I'm gonna keep this. And I'm gonna bottom Serum Visions, because I'm not gonna be able to cast these Serum Visions for a long time, so. Well, there we go. Any untapped land will do the trick here. Like, this is like playing it safe, I guess, but I think it's fine. So now we Radiant Fountain, we Summer Bloom, we do 1, 2, 3. Next turn we cast Prime Time. Neither of us has Amulet. Neither of us has Amulet, but we're gonna try to make sure. Looks like they also have a similar hand to mine, where they just had like a turn 3 Summer Bloom, but I had a turn 2, so we were able to break serve. And 1, 2, 3, 4. Enough floating mana, which is interesting. Nice. So we can do that next turn, but this turn obviously just gonna do. They could have Pact of Negation. That would be bad for me, but at least that time walks them. They don't have the Pact. Okay, that's good. So definitely want a black source. So we can transmute for the Black Pact. Once again, showcasing why this card is banned. Once again, showcasing why this card is in the modern banned list. We're gonna have to watch out for Ghost Quarter, however. Because my opponent could have Ghost Quarter for my Rot Farm, so I want to make sure that I can. That's very nice. Okay. So I guess we're gonna do that too. Summoner's Pact. Swan Song. Interesting. It's kind of weird to me because, I mean, now I just go get Slaughter Pact. I think we definitely want a black source, and we want. So I guess we go Gemstone Mine Sunhome. This allows me to double strike and gives me a second black source. So we can pay for Pact. So now they have to pay for that. They can kill my Titan. I have no packs to pay for. So I guess they can probably transmute for the Black Pact here. But then they don't have their own Pact, their own Titan. Boom! Nice little trophy. 1 for 1. Play this event once, got the trophy. This was a lot of fun. This really was a lot of fun. It really is. It really feels good. Like it really feels good to go back to playing with this card. And we showcased multiple times why this card is not okay. If you think Summer Bloom is fine, you're wrong. You have no idea what you're talking about. This card is very, very much safely in the banned and restricted list. This cannot leave where it is. Like, we beat Eldrazi, we beat like Deathrite Shamans, all of this nonsense. It doesn't matter. Like, Summer Bloom it's ridiculous. Like, this card is absolutely insane. It allows some extremely easy turn 2 Primeval Titans. Or turn 3 Primeval Titans, like we just saw in that very last game. this card is fantastic. This card is absolutely fantastic, and playing this deck was a ton of fun. Hopefully you enjoyed it as well. If you did, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, and you can help us support the Invincible Crew Entertainment YouTube channel. That's gonna be it. That's gonna be it. This has been Francisco. Thank you so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.